Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai 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 Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Where are we now? Any idea? Full of confusion. You are having full of confusion. We don't know what is remembrance. We don't know what is surrender. We don't know what is love. So we are going on hearing, but nothing materializing. Good. Full of confusion. The spirituality seems to be full of confusion. In Malayalam, there is a word, Kalangi Telia. So that's a good sign. The internal struggle will be coming. Otherwise, we will not be probing deep at all. So there will be so many such questions. And then resorting to solitude, trying to find the answer from within. That is the only way to get. Because we know now, for decades together we have been here. For decades together we have been chanting. Though the mind consoles us that it is calm, quiet in certain aspects, still the main object remains unaltered. Main object is we thought, God. And there is unknown. That unknown factor still remains to be unknown. At last. Then when we go to the Shastras and Gurus, we understand Unknown will always remain as unknown because the knowing principle should become one with it. All other things, in any other subject, there is a subject-object relationship. The subject will be able to understand that it's an object. But here, it is the very subject. And we want to put God or spirituality as an object. So however much we try, however many years we try, we have understood now, so long as I feel it as an entity, as something other than me, I will never be able to understand. Because it is because of that power. That's why Papa here clearly says that it is because of him that you are chanting itself.
We understand that Shakti is there inside, and power is there.
But it
We
is
are not able to look at
that is enough.
the problem.
That is enough.
Shakti is there.
That is that. When we know that Shakti is there, we have to do intense searching, then only we will be able to locate. We are searching outside. To know the power inside, we are searching outside. Papa was doing both, internal search as well as outer search. And then he knew internal search alone can give him the answer. So in order that the mind does not get distracted, he was holding on to the chanting. Because chanting is the wall, the fence, which will not allow any other thought to go out or any other thing to come in. That he could, just like a fort, he could build up that fort. So that the mind was exclusively on this. And his revelations. So unless and until we try to move towards that, it will be difficult to get answer. He did not get answer because he attended Satsang or he asked somebody or no. It is purely an internal, inward journey because of which he could scale the heights. And he revealed it to us. During his many talks, he gave us the different facets of his revelations. So when we fail to get our own, we are trying to get something from him so that we will also try in our own way, not in the way in which he has done. Because we have not done what he has done. Our equipment and his equipment is different. Our time and his time is different. Our environment and his environment is different. Everything is different. So it is not possible. But at the same time, he gives us clues. And this fundamental question should come to us. You lost your network connection. Because of the current, huh? No, current has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
You are independent.
So he says, the object of repeating the name is to purify the mind and thereby get the awareness of him within us. So when we say we are unable, we know that there is a power. We are unable to feel the presence of the power. That stage we have reached. Otherwise, we will not be able to sit and feel that we are an individual. There is a power, an unknown power, which I cannot define. But now the question is, I am not aware of this power. I know that power is there, but I am not aware. In the sense express it, it's a problem. So here he says, God then becomes not a matter of mere intellectual acceptance, but an object of intimate and close experience. Because our communion with Him through the name becomes so perfect that gradually we lose the distinction between ourselves and Him, and freed from all desires and outgoing tendencies, find union with Him. So this is purely an internal inward journey. Outwardly, the mind helps me to ward off, to relieve me from all thoughts. Thoughts gets concentrated on one thought, and that one thought, oh, is covered. Let me go. So, for a short while there was a disconnection because of some internet problem. So one doubt has been raised. It is not somebody's doubt, everybody's doubt. That we know, even after years or decades of practice, the truth remains that we know that there is a power within us. We know there is a power without us. The intellect can take us to that extent.
The power is there in everyone.
Everything is there. The wind blows, the tree grows, the effulgence of the sun is there. Everything we can, all these things are understandable. They are in the ambit of knowables. But to feel the presence of that power is a struggle. That is the real struggle of an aspirant. So that means all our now, whatever spiritual disciplines we have been following, it should zero to this, like that we should get. So this is called the power. One way of looking at it is, each one has to find out the answer. Nobody can give the answer. But one way of looking at it is, when we keep on going like this, we immediately diagnose the problem that the mind has been treating it as something other than the mind. Other than the mind means the mind is capable of thinking, that is different. God, the power behind it, is separate. Whereas it is with the power of that Atman that the mind is functioning. So my sadhana should enable me to somehow stop this feeling of separating him from everything. We don't know how far we are clear about it. We have been thinking that there is a power behind it, but we are not aware of it. We cannot bring that power into the knowable category. We cannot travel to attain that. Because we realize that without that power, this travel cannot be undertaken. So where to travel then? So then we keep on again thinking. So the reason could be because unknowingly, right from childhood, in spite of my association with the masters, in spite of my doing so many spiritual disciplines, still I feel he is separate from me. He is separate from the thought. The thought exists because thought comes only because of him. So he is the power behind the behind the thought. How can the thought explain the power behind the thought? So we cannot travel, we cannot move further. Intellect has its limit. How do we now handle? Either to feel the presence of the power while thinking, if that is possible. Either to feel the power that is behind seeing. Either to feel the presence of that power while hearing, while touching, while smelling, while thinking. That is one way. Or let us become subservient to that power. Intellect, since we know that our intellect cannot go beyond that, we know that there is a power. To that power we will surrender. Subservience to that power. In whatever way that is possible. The way suggested to us by Papa is go to the origin of everything. So when you gave me, like that we should start. When you gave me a sense of individuality and the necessary, you have been providing me with everything that is needed for its existence, for its enjoyment. I did not bring anything with me to this world. Slowly we develop a relationship, a loving relationship with the power. Because the first stage somehow we have been blessed to come out, that there is a power inside us and outside us. So to that power we submit. You have been kind enough, you have been gracious enough to provide me with everything. Why don't you make me aware of your presence? When our mind is mature enough, meaning when our mind becomes so pure, meaning when our mind becomes less and less of me and mine, He will reveal to us. With all that we are asking, the me and mine is very much with us. That is why we always say the absence of otherness should be writ large in all our thoughts, words and deeds. As much as possible. And reducing ourselves to the minimum. Whether at home or in the office or with the society. Always we feel what all you have given, what all you have given, what all you have given. This approach will be far more sweeter than the other one. Just now we were discussing. The other one will become dry beyond certain level. Because the intellect cannot travel. It can travel to anywhere which is an object. Here this is the very subject. When we came to ashram, when we started coming here, must be about after 4 or 5 years, 64, 5, 7, 68 when we were here. At that time, we went to a publication, saw a book called Pathless Path. It's a flowery word. How can there be a path which is pathless? Out of curiosity, we took it, then we knew it was a collection of Papa's various articles. And that word started coming back and again and again and again and again. Because it was done during Papa's time. Pathless path. Then the intellect could take us to some extent. That the path means it's the distance between A to B. Mavangal to Ashram. Ashram to Kanyangar. Ashram to Mangalore. Ashram to Wayanad. So one point is there, another point is there, in between what is called the path. Here he says pathless path. So when there is something other than the first one, A and B should be there now. When it is only A to A, how can we call it as path? A to B is called a path. A to A normally we don't say it's a path. A is A only, that's all. That keeps on coming back. So it is purely a subject. Subject-object relationship can give us, by the help of a thought, can give us an experience. But here it is the very subject. And this subject we are trying to understand it as an object. Can we ever do that? So that becomes dry. Exceptional cases it becomes okay. Experienceable. Organizable. But no. We are all ordinary people. We find the intellect cannot go beyond that. So the best way is, then we look at Papa. Though he scaled the scale back, he also was practicing simultaneously the other one. Subservience to that path. Why not we try that? Because of him, we know that he is there. Because of him, we exist as individuals. We know that he has provided everything for us. He has never left us even in times of crisis. Because we don't exist beyond him, without him, bereft of him. And we can plead. He has given us the freedom to plead before him. Why don't you make me aware of your presence? That freedom also he has given. Just like he has given us the vismriti, the forgetfulness of his nature, which normally term it as Maya. He has also equally given us the freedom to pray to him. So with that freedom we pray to him. Why don't you please make me aware of your presence, so that I will always become full. We keep on asking. At the appropriate time, he will open. How do we know that? We ourselves look at ourselves. What were our preferences and priorities? Though we intellectually knew everything, even before 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years back, But today we see some slight, It took us a lot of time because our baggage was very heavy. When we started reducing the baggage, slowly we started seeing some signs of light. So similarly, when at the opportune moment, placing our words, placing our faith in him, we keep on pestering. And that is the attitude which Papa strongly advocates for people like us. One more thing, we are not exclusively concentrating on it. So the jnana path demands your exclusive. There cannot be any diversion. And that's why in those days they were able to recede and go to caves and forests where there is no human touch. Contemplating, 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 contemplating only. With minimum needs of existence. That also they were depending upon Mother Nature. Or anybody casually goes there, they put something. They were not worried. Their exclusive concentration was on realizing this truth. That much commitment was there. The body could stand all the tests and trials. The mind was free from cravings, infatuations, desires. For us, we are sitting with this. The body, mind, they are used to certain comforts. The moment the comfort is disturbed, we are back to our body, mind, and that equipment. That is our nature, that is our limitation. And knowing this, we are thinking something beyond all this. It is not possible, bluntly. Papa was asked the question, you have to bluntly say yes, unless one takes a leap into it. So what is the method for us? There is to become subservient to, develop our subservience to the power and dedicate everything to that power. Slowly we will feel, satisfied. We will feel we will be free from grumblings and complaining. We will be reconciling with any situation. Today you gave me to sit in a comfortable position. Suddenly the light can go, internet can go, suddenly something can happen. I reconcile. Am I reconciling? The litmus test. So subservience along with submission to the will of God. Probably that would be the safest for people like us. It may be a different approach for others. For people like us who cannot exclusively sit with this, who cannot forget all the comfort zones. Within that comfort we are. Everything we are doing, along with that we also would like to remember God, no doubt. That's all. It is not exclusive. It is very difficult for us to understand even. Nothing else I want. That stage has not reached us, and then how can we plan for that? Equipment is not ready enough. Only the mind says I want it, but the equipment is not ready, nor are we very serious about it. In the case of Mahatmas, we have found either there was a serious knocks, there was shock, or in rare cases, it just blossomed at the early ages before they filled their baggage. Two persons come to Ravan Bhagavan, Sri Angamema. The blossoming was automatic. Otherwise, there was some instrumental cause for everybody they were all leading a normal life, and then there were kicks and knocks. Something was instrumental in turning them toward this, and they paid a heavy price in the form of Tavasya, and they scaled the heights, and then they shared. So we cannot, they are not worried whether in comfortable zone or not. We all know about Ramana Maharshi, no? With a loin cloth he went and sat. So comfort zone was not there. We are sitting in the comfort zone. Any slight disturbance in our comfort zone disturbs us. It's a blunt truth. So we should know our limitation.
I can't sit without the handle of chair. Handle chair I can't sit. Simple. That's simple.
Make uneasy. Yeah.
And I can't get over it.
3 times food. Very often water, electricity, chappal, dress. All these things, it matters a lot for us. Initially we may, but we will not. So first we think about comforts. Then only we think about spiritual disciplines. No doubt, instead of doing something else, we are doing spiritual discipline. But first is our comfort. So long as our mind is hooked in this comfort zone, this problem is there. So how am I to do it? I plead this. He knows my limitation. So within the parameters, why don't you please make me aware of your presence? And if it comes from the bottom of the heart, he will answer to us.
One day I asked Mother, cut up the neck to do some Mother, you to delay. I'm going to do
കഷ്ടപ്പെടാതെ കിട്ടുന്നെങ്ങാനും പറഞ്ഞു പോയാൽ we will never do anything.
അങ്ങനൊന്നുമില്ല.
There's one more doubt. They are to be sustained throughout. Not a momentary, yes.
The only way is to somehow bring him into our picture. You have made us, you have facilitated, you have been giving. Now also you are providing. You gave me, instead of seeing something, instead of hearing something, you provided a satsang. You provided to hear your words in the form of, through Papa's form. You said so many things about how to reach you. You gave us that wonderful opportunity. Like that we keep on filling our mind with gratitude. No? This is one way to sustain the tempo. What all you have given to me, suddenly you become aware now. You have made me all my organs so active. That is why I am in a position to take part in bhajan, and take part in Ramnam, to absorb the subtle, profound ideas which you have conveyed through masters. What all you have given, I am asking only one more. Why did you make me aware of your presence? Somewhere, Papa says, the child talks not in the language of a mature person, but the mother can understand. So the thing is, the mother knows what the child wants. The child knows, but through its own limited words, can convey what it wants, how it can attract the attention of the mother. So that is what we are not struggling. We have to become childlike, and we say, you have given everything, accepted. You have been taking care of me. You have been providing me with everything. You have given me all my faculties. Everything is right. But why don't you make me aware of your presence? This is something which, is bothering me now. You know that it is bothering me. You have given me the restlessness. Why don't you please take it? We may not hear. We have to intensify. No other way. No shortcut. In his words, there is no shortcut.
Papa says, pay the full price.
Full price. You'll extract. Godi, you have to keep on trying. So whatever we are doing now is only to intensify our prayer. So Nama has been given to us with that intention. It will be the instrument to take us. That's why it's called the password. Chanting the password to connect the divine with it. There could be so many passwords. This is one of the passwords. Nama chanting. And because this ashram has been, the mainstay of this ashram has been Nama, we try to go deeper. We are doing Nama. We enjoy Nama. We have some impact is there, positive impact is there because of Nama. But still the fundamental thing has not been arrived at. So here he says you are chanting the name of your own self. It is he who is making you to chant.
Yesterday I told you in the beginning of Japa, Jam means out of Janna Varna, Pa means Papa Vinashanam, purifying their health. Japa word itself so much meaning.
We must knowingly repeat the mantra, become conscious of God by understanding the object of such repetition. So we are chanting only, we are always doing this, we are asking. Previously when we were hearing this, we were not understanding. Now we are pushing to understand, Taking God's name, doing japa means that we are trying to become conscious of God. Because the mantra, the name stands for God. When we tune ourselves with the name, we tune ourselves with God. That is the purpose of repeating the mantra. Without it, the repetition becomes merely mechanical and does not help us in any way. We must knowingly repeat the mantra, become conscious of God by understanding the object of such repetition. Again, the problem comes because we are trying out through the mantra. But there are, majority of the time is non-chanting time. So what our mind does, how the mind approaches the men and matters, also have an impact by sitting for chanting. So what I do during the non-chanting time also matters. If it is not in line with this, then my progress will get hampered. So to make us understand, we can put it like this. Value-based life outside. And Nama chanting with the right perspective inside. Ethics, we were talking about ethics. Moral, ethical, spiritual values. When we fail, we forget, we somehow try to correct ourselves. So we try to see values everywhere. We try to see goodness everywhere. We try to see love everywhere. We may see the hate also, but it will not disturb us. We give more importance to all positive aspects. By hearing the biographies of masters, to some extent it will help us. When Ganeshana was here 3-4 decades back, 90s, he was here for a month. Every day in the same Satsang, he was sharing some of Bhagavan's life and teachings. Mostly it was anecdotes. So one day he shared with us that Bhagavan's always see the positive side. So when one person who was, behavior was rude, who was a problem for everybody, with aggressive behavior, abusive language use of dominating personality. assertive personality. And somehow, because of some encounter, he became disabled. Ashram was sending food for him. So one day he passed away. So when it was reported to Bhagavan, he said, whatever said and done, he is always neat. He will have his bath, he will have his dress, everything neat. So when we are sharing this, even then, original. Somebody will say, in our language, when we say a problem creator, is no more, we say, oh, but he did not say that. So when we hear such incidents, slowly we also, our mind gets, as repetitive performance makes it a part of our life. Similarly, you go on hearing about the goodness, about the positive, about the bounteous gifts given by him. And when we try to see the goodness in everybody, see the compassion in everybody, see the forgiving nature in everybody, slowly to touch. These are not the expressions of God, so we don't have to seek Him apart from that. There is an inexplicable sense of joy when we hear such incident. If we start analyzing with our intellect, we may not be able to say, but it gives us joy. So as bhaktas we would say, that is why in Uddhava Gita he says, you hear my glories. So that the mind is filled with always with positive thoughts, positive thoughts, positive thoughts. And it will kindle only positive things from inside. Creative thoughts, creative thoughts, creative thoughts. It will kindle creative thoughts in us. So why not we try? Each one has to try. When we find the tempo is now set, it is gaining momentum. Again, suddenly one fine morning, it gets deflated. We keep on inflating, punctured. It happens. There is snake and ladder there, it happens. You struggle, reach, suddenly another stroke, we get back. Let us try this. Let us be persevering. Let us have that faith that so far He has not left me. He will not leave me. He will not leave me till I realize His presence. Otherwise, why should He make us to know that He is there within me? When everybody has left me, every situation has changed, He has never left me. Whenever I am pushed, when I am preoccupied with something else, with my own thoughts and my own judgment, still He allows me to do that. When I fail, when I go to Him, He will not complain. I have nothing to do with you. You have been thinking about yourself all these times. I will know. We know from our experience, when we have been arrogating, when we have been forming our own concepts, we feel. And then we meet with failure after failure. But when we pray to Him, He will say, oh, sorry. Even when I ignored Him, He has never bothered. If such is His behavior, then why should I not persevere my faith in Him? I think rather than the intellectual approach, this would be the safest approach. Am I not making you to say these words? Yes, like that, Every now and then I make you feel restless. That's why I give you. For some time to come, I make you to totally forget about me. So that the intensity to remember and the enjoyment will be more. Okay. Like that, this dialogue. Here next, daily communion with God. We must have this communion. We, as a part of our sadhana, we can say that all of us here who have gone through In Quest of God, first book of Papa, will know how much importance he gives for this communion with God. Not only throughout the chapters, every now and then he will take, now what are you going to do? Let me see. At times he puts a challenge before Ram. There is a dialogue between Ram, a very sweetest relationship. And finally, at the end of it, in the form of outpourings, the dialogue is beautifully brought out. And what all you and I have in our mind, it is there. At times it is very sattvic, at times it is rajasic, at the same time it is tamasic. But at the same time, he within us, how he keeps on directing. At times, the mind, Ramdas says, at times Ram says, suddenly you will find that change.
Oh Rama, you are nothing. You are nothing.
So this dialogue, this communion, it's a beautiful exposition. And one can have this, but to put it in writing, for the sake of all of us, for posterity.
Swamiji, it is mostly monologue.
It is monologue. But it's a dialogue. Monologue in the sense there is no other person. But it's a dialogue between the sense of individuality and the power which makes the sense of individuality. Ram stands for that. Ramdas stands for the sense of individuality. And though we later on came to know that he has gone through toughest texts like Yoga Vasishtha, still Papa was able to maintain this harmonious, loving, cordial relationship with him. Many a time we get confused who is talking. But now, slowly, it is becoming clearer. Yes, you and I also can have that relationship. Now you can have the relationship. You can tell, yes, you make me to hear all these things. But why are you hiding? You make me to hear. You feel I am hearing. You make me feel I am hearing. But actually without you I cannot hear. Why are you hiding? Not like that. When our prayer becomes intense, we have been promised that, when Papa, in a later way, when he said, this is not manners, you should not interfere. Whenever Ramdas talks, you are unnecessarily interfering. You are asking, did you tell them my will be done? God's will be done? So then Papa obeys and then says, this is not manners. Then immediately Ram asks, who are all sitting there? You are connecting. Whenever the mind is likely to get confused, immediately the power says, who are there? I make you to forget. I am making you to remember. Later on, when we went through Bhagavad Gita, then only that is also made clear there. Matta smriti jnanam ahohanam cha. Smriti jnanam ahohanam. I am. Remembrance, forgetfulness and knowledge. I make you to forget. I make you to remember. I make you to retain. Smriti, Jnanam, Avoham. Avoham means forgetfulness. So then now he is responsible. He is making me to forget. But why, when I feel restless, this dialogue. That would be the safest path. Whenever we forget even to that say Nama makes us. We are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making us to do. We are not clear. Okay. But we know this much. Our master has said that we are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making us to chant. We have 100% faith in him, in his words. Though we may not have the trust in him, we have the faith in him. So with that faith, we will try. And if the communion, the habit of communing with him, developing a relationship with him, developing a line of communication with him, if it gains momentum, then he will make us to know why he makes us to forget also. I want you to do this particular job with no other distraction. That is me. That perfection is me. Don't think that perfection is other than God remembrance. Like that he will give the clarification. When you identify yourself with somebody, that is called compassion. You jump and try to save him. At that time, we may not bring the usual God concept. Then he will answer, that is me. Like that, every value that we appreciate, which gives us joy, then we slowly come to know that he is there in the form of values, in the form of goodness. In Malayalam, there is a beautiful prayer. Nanmarupiyaya Devame Nanakku. ഈ ദേവാലയം നിനക്ക് നിത്യവും വസിക്കുവാൻ എത്രയും മനോജ്ഞമാം സദനമായി ഭവിക്കണം. നന്മരൂപിയായ ദൈവമേ നിനക്ക് വന്ദനം. നന്മരൂപിയായ ദൈവമേ നിനക്ക് വന്ദനം. So God personified, goodness personified is God. വിദ്യയും വിശുദ്ധിയും സ്വഭാവശുദ്ധിയും സദാ. വിവേകവും തരണയും ത്യാഗതയും. സിമ്പിൾ ലൈൻ. ഈ ദേവാലയം, ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ ദേവാലയം, എത്രയും മനോജ്ഞമാം വസ്തു. For you to live this, it should become a beautiful, comfortable house. And who are you? Nanmarupi. You are the embodiment of goodness personified. These are some of the easy methods by which we can bring in, rather than breaking our head with intellect. Not that it is bad, it might give us. Easy way to enjoy is to see him in goodness, to see him in love, to see him in compassion, to see him in excellence. So let us not separate. The unknown factor is there. That we always think that the unknown factor is something to be. It is there. Even while searching, it is there. Pathless path. As somebody has put it, the moment you think you are on the job, you are on your journey, you have reached. The moment you think you are on the journey, you have reached. Because there is no destination, no. There is no destination to be reached. The very power because of which these words are being uttered is the destination. But right from our childhood, we thought there is a journey. Starting point and the finishing point is the same. How do we know? The power. The power because of which even Papa's every word, when he says, we must go deeper and deep. He was always fond of repeating Swami Ramtirtha's words. I remember you, O Lord, because you remembered me first. That means even to remember him, he has to remember us first. That much closeness. Gandhiji said, he is closer than your nails. These things will add up, He is closer to you than the closest. The nail is closer to you. He says he is more closer than the nails. How am I to understand? Intellect cannot understand. But now I find how near it is. It is grown from here. It can be tamed, but it is there. It is Swayambhu. No, it does not come from anywhere else. All these things was so much with me, So he is nearer than that means something apart, that only can be conveyed. So then we say, even these words are coming because of it. So we can complain to him that commune India, today's beautiful. So he said during the daytime, there are many moments we will get where we are not working. So at that time we can set apart and have a communion with him even for a shorter period. He doesn't require, say, 8 hours you have worked. You have to be with me for 8 hours, no. It can be a few seconds. That is why now we remember, welcome up yesterday, even if you do a little, that is enough for me. The same theme has come up before us because the fundamental question remains that though we know he is there, we are not aware of him. We are happy that he has put us on that stage. So from that stage we will now travel. Travel to where? Travel to know that we don't have to travel. Kindly bless me with that stage where we don't have to travel. We don't have to feel that we have to travel. Right at the starting moment you are with me. At times you make me feel that I have to travel. Again when I start traveling I don't reach anywhere. Then you make me realize, no, you don't have to travel. Avadeyumil, Ivadeyumil Ishwaran. Avasanam ennilekku njan thirinju. In Malayalam there is a beautiful Ishwarane thedi njan aranju. I have been in search of him. Kadalukal kadannu njan kadannu. Avadeyumil, Ivadeyumil Ishwaran. Then he keeps on telling. Then finally he says, Avasanam ennilekku njan thirinju. I turn to myself inside. Avidamani, Hridayamani Ishwaranta Vasam, Snehamani Ishwaranta Rupam. Many people have captured this and tried to put it in the language in which we can understand. My heart is the dwelling place for him, and love is his form. And love means absence of otherness, absence of me and mine. So these are some of the words through which, we can say we will try to travel, but actually we know it is not a traveling, it is a trip back home. Yes. It's a travel, no doubt. Travel of the thoughts, and finally it comes back to its own source. Without travel, probably it would not have been possible. I would not know that he is there. So he is making me to travel. And then when we come to know he is not there anywhere else, then finally come back to him. Papa used to use such words. Sadhana is to know that by sadhana you cannot achieve anything, Then why should I do sadhana? Otherwise ignorance will be bliss, I have to do sadhana to know that by sadhana I cannot reach him. Because he is in the starting point. To know that I have to do the sadhana. He is the very starting point. And I think if the whistle is there, I have to go out now, run. But afterwards, I have been running, then come back. Then when I come, oh, this is the place I started. So he is providing so many clues, hints. He allows us to wonder, he allows us to get confused, he allows us to apparently meet with failure. Everything is there. But at the same time, we keep on hammering. He has never left us. Kindly try that. He has never left us. Right from the moment we started feeling ourselves, the light, you remember? We then realize that the light of God is nothing but the light that comes from our own soul. Actually, when the light dawns on us, we cannot but see Him anywhere. As we become aware of Him within us, we become conscious of Him without also. We see a strange, all-pervading light, wherein all beings and creatures seem to be so many bubbles appearing and disappearing. So we are, at times, why are you making me to go in search of light? Later on to realize that even to search for that light, I need the light, which you make me to search outside. This is not fair, you can say that. This is too much for me to bear. So like that, we develop a relationship and we keep on perseveringly pray to Him. And hammering this truth that He is there, He is there, He is there. Though I would not have realized His presence, the truth is there. Just like any statute in this land, whether I know Him or not, the statute is there. That is why when you go to the court, ignorance of law makes no excuse. As a citizen, I am supposed to know. So similarly, just because I don't know, the truth doesn't become an untruth. The truth is there. But it would be better if I come to know of it. So that I will be joyously living. Every now and then I look up to Him and get His instruction and carry on with the battle of life. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. At all times and in all conditions, remember me and fight the battle of life. So let us all take the maximum out of all these, retain as much as possible, and then continue to pester Him. No other way but to pester Him. Because at least we understood He is there, so we can pester Him. Hari Om. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai